thank you for joining me for another episode. I guess you call it an episode of Live Coding with Matt Groves. That's me, and this is 61st stream. We're going to continue working on the chatbot, which, by the way, should be working. Right, so if I hit current project, it should tell me what the current project is, and there we go. So it's working. Finally, yay. So we're going to keep working on that today. We've got some more things I want to do with it, and we'll go through some unit testing, and then we'll just take it from there. And we'll answer your questions, of course. So, because the only stupid question is the one you do not ask. So please ask away. I will love to hear your questions. I want to hear them. Let me close down my email client. It's making noises right now. Okay. Yeah, this is a safe place to ask questions. Any old question you got, ask away. It's a safe place. We're not going to frown upon basic intro questions. In fact, those are the kinds we love. We love those questions. I've answered, in these 61 episodes, I've probably answered the same question, up to 12 times or so. So keep them coming. That's totally fine. All right, and let's do some of our normal plugs here. Get this process going. It was really fun to raid on Tuesday as well. I can't remember who it was we raided, but it was really fun. And it was a really good channel we went into. It was talking some network basics and stuff. It was very cool. But this is the Twitch live coding team. I'm a member of this team, 122 members strong. And you can go here, twitch.tv/team/livecoders, to see who's streaming. And this is a great place to start looking for some live coding topics, some people to follow. A lot of great choices here. Later on in the stream, we're going to probably raid one of these people, one of these team members. See InstaFluff there is doing some gaming stuff, looks like. That's cool. But lots of other people, great people here. Blind Lagunas is streaming right now. Lots of other people who are not streaming right now, but will be in the future. So definitely check them out. All right, let's go off to another plug. We got the Awesome Developers streaming list. This is another place to find live coders. This is a wider array of them. This is not limited to just Twitch or the live coders team, but anyone who's doing live coding streaming anywhere. So if you wanted to search for bots, for instance, we can just do Control F and see, oh, we've got Alexander here. He's working on chat bots. Jen Tong working on node bots, and so on. It looks like Btor here working on a Twitch bot in Swing. Very interesting stuff. So there's another good place to go. Check out GitHub/BNB/awesome developer streams. My thing is still making racket. Exit out of that. Okay. Next, bit.ly/GrovesTube. I think I neglected to update this, but if you want to go find old, not old, but any recording of my live streams, you can go here, bit.ly/GrovesTube. They're on Twitch for a certain period of time, but I will also export them over to YouTube for you to view them. And feel free to leave comments there if you're watching on YouTube. Hi YouTubers. I might be live over there on YouTube sometime soon. But leave a comment, leave a question. They're on YouTube. Happy to answer those here on the next stream. All right. I think I'm going to stop this one. But I will continue to promote this. If you are a Couchbase developer, if you use Couchbase SDK now or in the past, we're running a survey right now, and there's some great prizes and opportunities there for you to earn those things. If you just go take a little survey, we're trying to improve our documentation, specifically around 3.x. So go to bit.ly/docs survey. That's a capital S there in docs survey. I'll put this right in the chat room here as well. Go take that survey, answer some questions. You could win a prize, and there's a chance for you to go on and get a $200 guaranteed incentive, I guess we'll call it. Not really a prize, but $200 guaranteed for participating even further. So definitely check that out, bit.ly/docs survey. Upcoming events. Well, SQL Saturday Cincinnati, this has been canceled. The organizer did not cancel this. However, their venue did. So that is right out. So no longer going to that event. I have offered to present that live on Twitch stream like this one or wherever. No response to them yet, but I may just do that on my own anyway. But of course, I'd like to be able to reach the people who are going to be at the event that can no longer go. Orlando Code Camp, not been officially canceled yet. However, I've seen from their Twitter account that a lot of their speakers have canceled. So, this is coming up pretty soon. Just keep an eye on that. As it is right now, it's going to go forward, but that may be canceled. And that just goes for lots of the other events as well. What's not pictured on here is Stir Trek, which I'm not speaking at, but that was going to take place May 1st. That was just canceled today. So events as far out as May, that's early May, granted, but as far out as May, they are being canceled. So definitely keep an eye on that. I would not be surprised if these events all canceled, although I've seen email from Codestock saying they won't. Of course, things change. They change their mind. Same with Ignite. They've canceled a lot of events. Microsoft has. Would not be surprised if they cancel this as well. Orlando Code Camp, as I said, as of this recording right now, this is Thursday, 1:30 Eastern U.S. time, p.m. I have not seen anything about them canceling. No emails or tweets or anything. So just keep an eye on that. NDC Oslo, of course, that's in Europe. So there's a whole travel ban thing going on right now. I don't know if it applies to me or not, but it's in June, so things could change by June. This is my first NDC event. It would be really awful if I couldn't actually go and speak at it. So hopefully things will be calmed down by then, but definitely keep an eye on this. So not a great time for events right now, for the travel industry or for events. So that is kind of a bummer. And just in case you're watching this like a year from now and you're like, what's the big deal? I can bring up the whole thing here. It's in my history somewhere. Maybe just this interesting little snapshot. This was actually kind of not working so great. Last time I checked it, it was getting under some serious load. But we're in the middle of coronavirus. COVID-19 or COVID-19. I don't know how people are saying it. But you can see this site's getting a little bit slammed. And this is causing a lot of stuff to shut down. So right now, you can see cases in China are kind of leveling off. That's kind of good. Hey, Bhaskar, what's going on? Thanks for stopping in. These are recovery cases. Of course, there's more and more every day. That's good. And in other locations, it's a little too soon to tell if we're leveling off, but you can see kind of right there. I am in, and they've changed the site up a little bit. It's a little slower, again, because I think a lot of people are using the site. It's just a lot of traffic. But I was going to show you where I am, Ohio, just to give you an update on cases there. It's not nearly as bad as other parts of the world, but it is affecting Ohio. The Ohio government has shut down a lot of stuff in terms of large events, large gatherings, sporting events, NCAA tournaments, stuff like that. And Star Trek is one of the casualties. I don't know of either legal reasons or just out of caution. 4 cases. I thought there was more than 4 cases now. Bhaskar, I thought there was up to 5 or 6. But yeah, it's just sort of the early stages of being spread and or detected in Ohio. Who really knows what's going on? But that's what's going on right now. That's what all these events are suffering from. So just a little bit of context for you. That's why I am saying, I plan to be at these events, but they may not actually happen. All right. Oh, there's another site, coronavirus.ohio.gov, currently report 4. So there you go. All right. So today, digital challenge, as in last time, I want to keep working on this, but this is kind of meant for in-person events, and not a lot of those happening very soon. So I've done a lot of work on it already, so I think it's fine to put on the back burner for now. And so instead, we're going to focus on more virtual type of projects. The chatbot, which should be working right now. So if we did like this, is that the right code, or is it just one T, or sorry, one S? But I don't know. Rim shot. That's the one. There we go. I don't know what the other one is. I'm spelling it wrong probably. But that bot is up and running and it's working. So I want to focus on making some improvements to it, and let's get to it. So we've got some ideas here for commands. I want to start with a unit test check just to make sure we're in good shape with unit tests, and maybe look at some of these other commands to do. Yeah, and then I think authentication is probably the first thing I want to do, because right now it's a chatbot. It's open to the world. It's not a big deal, but I do want to restrict it, at least parts of it, to just me doing the admin stuff, and just you via the chat room to work with it. So I'm going to work on that. And we had some suggestions the last time about using Azure AD and open authentication. I looked into those, and I think that may be a little more than I want to deal with. So I did find, and this is something I've done in the past, is create like an authorized attribute. However, with ASP.NET Core, they've kind of changed the way they want you to do these. So it's a little bit more work, but it's probably a little bit better to do it this way anyway, in general. So we're going to look at creating an authorization policy, and then use that policy to secure most of the endpoints of this chat app. So here we go. We've got this. I'm the ASP.NET security person. So we've got this class here that says you got to be over 18 in order to access this endpoint, right? If you're, maybe it's for a tobacco site or something. I don't know, voting site, whatever. There is some. It's like a handler you have to create here. It's an authorization requirement. So once you create this requirement, this handler, you can then add it as a policy to authorization. And you say, okay, here's a policy. I'm calling it the over 18 policy, and then here's the actual requirements. It could be one or more requirements. And then you apply this authorize to the actual action. So why don't we go ahead and do that? All right, so up here in startup of my app here, and this takes place in the configure services method, so right around here. So it's getting a little crowded. I gotta wonder, the configure method in a lot of like enterprise large ASP.NET Core projects is probably relatively small. I gotta wonder if there's a better way to refactor this, to add this and keep this stuff organized. But we'll just keep stacking it on there for now. And so we'll say services dot add. What was it? Let's put this over on the screen. We're going to add a policy. Add well, this time it looks a little different. So this Stack Overflow answer is from 2019, last time it was updated. So might have to change this, but maybe it's add authorization policy evaluator. I feel like I've done this before somewhere. Yeah, so I don't know if that's it. Maybe I need to bring in another package or something. All right, so just going to do a little bit of Googling here. Authorization policies. See what comes up here. All right, policy-based authorization, ASP.NET Core. Looks like a blog post. Here's a documentation. So add authorization. Wow, that looks like what was in the Stack Overflow answer. Why didn't it show up? Add authorization. Services. Add authorization. Oh, there it is. I didn't see that. Oh, because it's not add pol. Okay, I'm looking at the wrong thing. Yeah, add authorization. Fine. Options. Okay, good. On the same page now. Okay. Now within that, I can say options.add policy, and then create a policy, and then I'm going to call it bearer token only policy. And for this, I'll say policy, another lambda, policy.requirements.add, and I'm going to say new. Now, what is this? What is this stuff here? Let's see. This is saying authorization.over18 requirements. I don't know why I need the namespace on there, but I'm going to say bearer token requirements. And what I could probably put in here would be the actual bearer. Whoa, actual bearer token. And so the bearer token I could get from configuration dot what is it? Get value string of bearer token. Now, before I go any further, I want to take that off the screen because I'm going to open up my development settings here. Okay, that looks good. So I'm just hiding some things like my Twitch tokens, but you can see I've got bearer token already in there, and I'm just locally I'm going to call it my token. In production, it'll be something harder to guess, of course, but that's going to work just fine. So I'm going to say bearer token. That should do it. Okay, so now I need to create this bearer token requirement. Now, where would I put that in my project? Where would be a good place for that? I'm just going to start in the root for now, unless anyone has a better suggestion. Okay, and this is kind of weird, but the way this says to do this, let me look back at the documentation. Minimum age requirement. Yeah, it's just authorization requirement. Okay. Okay, so to implement, whoops. What happened? Yeah, okay. All right, so do I have to override something? That can't be right. Authorization handles. Yeah, okay, that's fine. That makes sense. Did I miss something? Minimum age requirements, okay. There's a minimum age requirement implementation. Nope, minimum age requirement, yeah. Okay. Authorization requirement. It's empty marker interface. Okay, interesting. So empty marker, then how is it actually going to apply it? I just need authorization handler. Why couldn't I make these the same class? Like they did in the Stack Overflow answer. I don't see why not. So I just have this one handle requirement async. Now that's different from the Stack Overflow because it did say handle. But let me just see. Yeah, it looks like it matches up there. All right, so what I want to do is when this authorization is run, I want to make sure that a bearer token was passed in the query string. This is not like the highest level of security, right? Because that could end up in a log somewhere, the query string, and we don't really want that because that could potentially be, a breach. However, this is a very easy way to do this, and it works. It makes it easier for me to implement this with Streamlabs OBS, so I can just drop in a URL with all the authorization, that I need in the URL itself. At the same time, locking out anybody else who wants to go hit my site and see what they can do. They won't have the token, so they won't be able to do anything other than, if they want to DDoS me or whatever. But that's a whole different problem we can't solve with authorization. All right, so I think I'm going to call this good enough. All right, so what I need to do then is I need to check in the query string to see. I want to see is the token there? Is the token correct? And if it's neither of those things, then we're going to say, well, you're not allowed. So let's see. How do we say it's not allowed? context.succeed. So if I just said context.succeed, then that means this requirement is successful. Okay, and we got to pass in the one that's being passed in here. So we just pass on to the next one in the list. Hypothetically, if there was more than one, we would just keep it going along in the pipeline. So right now, what this does is nothing. Turn task dot completed task. This is just a nothing requirement. This basically says anybody can come in. All right. Okay. Now, what do we do if it's a failure? So let's see. So in this case, if the right now, it's kind of confusing, but we just return task without marking succeed. I think that's all we do. So just for instance, I could go ahead and take this, and the main one I want to, I think the only one, well, no, there's profile control as well, but the home one here is, I'm going to say authorize, and policy equals bearer token only. So only if the bearer token is correct would I want to allow someone to execute this method. Right now, like I said, that bearer token does nothing. So if I run this, well, for one, I'm going to have two bots. Two bots listening right now. That's okay. It'll be fine. Two bots are better than one. Oh, we got an error. All right. Bearer token. Oh, yeah. I need to add that constructor there. Create constructor. Just to save that bearer token. Bearer token. Right there. Bearer token. By the way, if you're not familiar with that term, it's kind of like a bearer bond. If you ever heard of a bearer bond before. It's kind of a famous, I don't know, plot device from some heist movies. But the bearer bond, basically, anyone who holds it, anyone who has possession of it, is who has the money that it corresponds to. So if you think of like, if I have like a check, right? I have a check that you've written to me, or I just pull a check out of your checkbook. You know, if I write that check and try to get money out of your account, well, you know, I may have shut down my account. I may have warned the bank about it, and that's not going to get you any money, right? With a bearer bond, you know, typically they're large amounts. It's just a fancy piece of paper, and whoever has that in their physical possession can use that money, and there's really no way to track it. So it's kind of like cash, but it's much larger amounts. So the same thing goes with bearer token. Whoever has the bearer token, I don't care how you got it. The system doesn't care how you got the bearer token. If you know the bearer token and you put it in here, then you have access. And you have some sort of authorization. So whoever holds the token. And so then the key is I just don't tell anybody, don't tell anybody else the token unless I want them to get in the system, and they can't. So that's all this means. It's just a kind of like a password. Okay, and I've used this in the past for, it's really helpful, really handy, I should say, for like HTTP-based APIs. And you've probably seen this before with some other third-party systems, like the movie database. You get a bearer token, and you can just make requests to get movie information. Maybe we've done that on the stream here before. Anyway, so it's just going to be a series of like random looking letters and numbers and characters. Okay, so now this is going to compile, and again, I'm storing the bearer token. I'm not actually using it yet, so we're going to get there. I just want to make sure. Okay, so I've got an error. Endpoint home controller contains authorization metadata, but a middleware was not found that supports authorization. Oh, have I not added that? Use authorization must appear between use routing and use endpoints. Do I not have that? Oh. App dot use authorization. No, not authentication. Use authorization. So I guess I was supposed to do that. Right? Try again. Okay, so that's working. And again, it's not doing anything. All right. This is the app running, by the way. Shut it down, maybe. Okay. It's not doing anything, so I'm not actually checking anything. So now what I want to check is, okay, can we get the HTTP context? Equals context dot, what is this context? Well, so this isn't really related to, well, it is ASP.NET Core. You'd think we'd be able to get the HTTP context somewhere. I mean, I guess I could pass it into the bearer token in the constructor again. Let me take a look at this. Context.pending result.list. Minimum age requirement. Context.user. I suppose user. Context.user is identities and stuff, but nothing related to the HTTP context. Now, before I pass it into the constructor, I'm just wondering if there isn't a better way to do this. So let me just double check here. How to access current HTTP context in HTTPS Core 2 custom policy-based authorization with yep, okay, that's what I want. And it looks like, yep, you got to inject it. That's all there is to it. Okay. So be it. Well, it's not the context per se, it's the context accessor, which is fine. Okay, and then I guess the problem with that is add HTTP context accessor. The problem with that is that I'm not just passing this in. Let me go back to this startup here. So when I say use this, that's gonna be broken, right? But if I say options.add add policy bearer token only, what's going to gen the bearer? I'll just do it manually. I'm going to just put it in the configuration and deploy that. Hey, thanks for stopping in, Degs. Great to see you here. This is not something that I intend for lots of users to have beyond me, so just having it in the configuration is fine. Otherwise, you're right. Well, I don't know if you're trying to imply this or not, but you want each user to have their own bearer token, right? And so you'd have to have a way to keep track of those and generate them and that sort of thing. I'm just trying to see if... Is there a typed version of this? Doesn't look like it. Okay. So, what I need then is... So there's that, and policy requirements there. I'm adding the bearer token, yes, but I also need to add a... no, not right there. I need to put the HTTP accessor right here. So how do I get that? I guess say new one of those, but then where does that come from, right? That's probably, yeah, I probably can't do that. But I need to pass it into this object here. Yes, I was trying to mentally align adding the gate, but not knowing where the key was coming from. Acknowledge makes sense. Yeah, that makes total sense. The key is just something I'm going to, right now, let me just double check here before I switch over to a config file. Right now, just for local purposes, my bearer token is just this completely obvious my token string. But when I deploy this to production, I will make this a longer, randomly generated, hard to guess kind of series of characters. But very good question, though. So I need to figure out how am I going to pass in HTTP context accessor into this bearer token requirement. I don't know where that's going to come from. HTTP context accessor. So where does that come from? Equals what? Yeah, where do I get this? Okay, so we're sort of two levels down here. Manually resolve it with the DI container and pass it in there. Yeah, I'm thinking that's probably what I could do. I want to just double check though. See if there's some other way in, this is what, configure service? No, yeah, configure services. If there's maybe a different way that I'm not sure, that might be an easier way to get to it is what I'm saying. Let's see. Yeah, so I think probably this needs to happen like you're saying. And yeah, well, let's just do that then. Services dot add HTTP context accessor. And then to pull it out of the DI container is what? How do we do that? I've done this before and I can never remember off the top of my head how to do that. But it's something like services dot get, no. Get service DI container ASP.NET startup. Service collection. No, that's not. I think that's what I'm looking for, is it? Something like that. Build service provider. Services.resolve. I didn't see that in there. Services.resolve. Yeah. Oh, it isn't there. Wow. I mean, I'm on ASP.NET Core 3. That may have changed. Yeah, but there's still got to be a way to do it, right? How to resolve service in startup ASP.NET Core. We'll put 3 on there. Avoiding startup service injection in ASP.NET Core 3. What does that mean? Okay, I don't think this is quite what I'm looking for. Let's see. Oh, here we go. Was that the one I've just landed on? Yep. All right. Look, I've uploaded this before, so I've been here. I've been here before. Let's see. App.application services? Something like this. Services.build service provider? I don't remember seeing that either. Oh, there it is. Okay. Service equals services.build service provider. Okay, fine. And then from that, I can say service.get service, right? Is there a, yeah, get service of HTTP content accessor. It's a lot of hoops to jump through, but there we go. Why is this green? It doesn't like this. Such as dependency injection services as parameters to configure. What? doesn't like it. Well, I mean, this is a warning, right? What are these potential fixes? I don't know what that's going to do for me. From application code results in an additional copy of singleton services being created. Now, technically, this is happening inside of this Lambda. I'm just going to go with it. I think it's probably fine. Let's see what happens. Okay. Okay, there we go. No errors. That's good. Wait, no, I'm getting an error. Just how I didn't do anything. Okay. Oh, hey, CTI Geek. What's going on? Do you call that outside the Lambda and then assign it? Is that what you're saying? Like, you could say SVC equals like so. And like, just use it inside here. I still get the same message. The same warning. I don't know if there's any benefit or not to doing that. Either way, I don't remember getting this green squiggle before. I don't know if that's a ReSharper suggestion or if that's a Visual Studio suggestion. Looks like Visual Studio. Well, I don't know. I only really need it to happen inside authorization. I don't know. But I'm getting an error anyway, so I'm kind of wondering what's going on here. So here's my app, and the bot runs just fine. And you know what? It might be you people chatting that's causing the error, because this is still connecting to the Twitch bot. I say you people, could be me as well. Yeah. So that caused the error. So something else is causing the error. Oh, probably because I don't have. You know what I was doing was, yeah, I know what the problem is. I was doing some Pluralsight work yesterday, and I switched Couchbase container over to the ones I'm using for Pluralsight, and I turned off the one that I was using for local development of this bot. So I'll switch over there. That should fix it. So it's just not able to find the correct correct data bucket. Excuse me. So completely unrelated error message, but now this is working. Okay, so now I want to actually put some logic in here to handle the requirement. So now that I've got the HTTP context accessor, I could say, for instance, like request HTTP context.request. Okay, and I'm just going to put some stuff in place here. If request equals a null, then we're going to return task.completed task. So without telling it succeeded, we're just going to return. If request dot, then we could go the next step and say query equals request dot query. And I just, again, if query, I'm just putting a lot of safety checks in here. Very defensive programming, okay? And then the next thing I can do is I can say, it does token exist? Does it even exist at all? Query dot contains key, and I'm just going to call it token. Why not? If not, does token exist? Once again, return task dot completed task. This is all things that should be unit testing, by the way. We'll probably get to that today. And having this, you know, as a interface into the constructor, that makes it a lot easier for me to mock it out in unit tests. So it's kind of a good thing. They've kind of, ASP.NET team is kind of helping me fall into that pit of success, as one might say. Okay, now we say, all right, token equals, maybe this shouldn't be called, maybe I should call this something like valid bearer token. something like that. Okay, and token, what's called given token, equals query dot, just like this, token. Too many equals there. Okay, and so that is a, oh, it's a query collection. Oh gosh. Why is that? I guess you could have more than one, right? But I'll just get the first or default. How's that? That should be good enough. If someone's passing in more than one token, they're obviously screwing around with my system. I just give me the first one. All right, and then if given token is null, or given token not equal to valid bearer token, then again we're going to return task, completed task. And only if all those, we pass through all those gates. What doesn't like about this? Use null propagation. Oh, okay. Fine. Only if it passes through all these gates will it then succeed. So if I go ahead and hit Control F5, this should not succeed. Okay, I don't think that's quite the error I'm looking for. Let's see. No authentication scheme was specified. There was no default challenge scheme found. The default schemes can be set using either add authentication or add authentication. Okay. Pretty sure I did that. Oh, I didn't. It's asking for authentication scheme. So I can't use this without, that doesn't make any sense. Because I had all these, well, I had none of that. I didn't get that error message. Why the difference? Do I need to add authentication in order to use authorization? All right, back to the documentation. Where was that? Here we go. Authorization types. Yeah, okay, good. Quite right about with authorization. Yeah, I don't want to go into the whole user thing. I don't want to get that far. Do I need to actually enable authentication for this to work? Require authenticated users. That's not quite what I put in there, is it? The whole thing with the 18 and over, that's really kind of what I'm going for here. Policy-based authorization. Okay, add authorization. I mean, that stuff's, this is all what I want to do. Did I forget something? Computer services, add authorization, require claim. Require claim. I don't think I want to do anything with claims. Authorization handlers. Yeah, I've done all this. Okay, fine. Handle the registration. Yep. This is what I did. This is literally what I did. Dependency injection and requirement handlers. Yeah, we talked about this already. All right, what did I miss here? Why don't I just Google that error message to see what happens? Nope, not what I wanted. So when I add this stuff, it seems to want to fail. Okay, so let's just Google this, see what happens. No authentication scheme specified. There's no default challenge. Yep, okay. This has to do with cookie. This authentication builder. This is some bearer stuff right here. JWT bearer. Do I need to do this? Do I need to say add authentication in startup? It seems like that's what it's wanting me to do. Where was it? Add authorization. The scheme name has to match the value we're going to use an authentication builder add scheme. So this is authentication builder? No, it's authentication authorization options. I don't think that's what I want. What if I just have that? Services.add authentication. Let's see what happens. Okay, error message. And if I down here I have app.use authentication. That's a pretty standard pattern. What happens now? Same error. So I don't think that's related. You know, I'm pretty sure I've done this before, and maybe it was with ASP.NET 2. Something's changed. Add authorization, ASP.NET Core 3. I'll just see someone else has done this. Bearer token. Swagger, JWT. This is what I've been looking at. Let's go through this again, see if I'm missing anything. My controller, I've got policy equals bearer token only, and that's what I called this, right? No, that's the problem. That's probably the problem here. I call it bearer token only here, and I call it bearer token here. I bet that's what it is. No, it's not what it is. Oh, wait, hang on. Hang on. No, I had it right. Bearer token only is here. This is the actual app config settings. Okay, so that's not it. Bearer token only, that matches that. Okay. Okay, so that's fine. Requirements, yep, yep. What is this? Authorization service. That's just the framework implementation. Fine. Okay. This is the typical configure services. Oh, do I need to actually add it? Again, this wouldn't explain why just commenting the code out would do this, but that, and I called it this one. I don't see why that would make a difference, but we'll try it. Oh, different error. Okay, well that's good. Unable to resolve service for type system string. Oh, yeah, okay. Yeah, exactly. I don't, okay. Because it's not going to pass, it's not going to pull this. I have to set up some sort of string. Seems like that would have been handled in the call to services.add HTTP context accessor. You're talking about services. This one right here. Yeah. Oh wait, did it? I put singleton. Is that what I wanted? Singleton? Yeah, okay. I just copied and pasted. Yeah, because I'm instantiating it here, so it's not like I'm trying to inject it from something. So I don't think that's really going to do it. And then since it's trying to do that, it's going to say, okay, what should I use for string? I'm not registering any string dependencies, so that's not going to work. I don't think that's what I'm supposed to do. This should be a lot easier. I must be something fundamental here. Something real easy. Yep, empty marker interface. Multiple handlers, sure. Yep, this is the logic. I put different logic, but yeah. I don't need multiple requirements. Registration. Oh, it did it here too. Services.minimum age handler. I think this is because I've got them both in the same class. And it just split them up in this example. Yeah, so I'm gonna try breaking them apart and see if that makes any difference. Class bearer token handler. No, we'll call this that, and this will say bearer token requirements. And in that case, all I want is this. A constructor with string this. And so that way, all this is going to do, this is all going to be, this actually might clear up some of that code. Oh, wait a second. Bearer token. Oh, because it's right here. See. Dot valid bearer token. So that has to be publicly accessible. Like so. And then I can take this off of here. That needs to go onto this, right? Okay. What doesn't like about this? Inaccessible. Oh. Yep, you're right. You got it. Same time as I did, Diggs. Good call. Yep, needs to be public. Okay, and then so in the startup, what I would say then is I don't need that anymore. I also don't need this stuff anymore. Right, and then add singleton would be what was it? Authorization handler? Oh, shoot. Yeah, authorization, so I'll just copy this. And that's going to be my bearer token handler. So that saves me a few lines of having to get this build service provider, which, is giving us a warning anyway. So we're avoiding that. Let's see what happens. Same. Okay, so it's a little less messy way to get to the same error message, but we're still getting the same error message. Why you do this to me, ASP.NET Core. What am I missing here? Services. Why is this? Region. What are you pasting here? Something like that. Let me see what you got here. Oh, the paste didn't go so well. So something like this. What am I looking at here? Services.add authentication. Error is compiling. We don't have a scheme specified. Oh, okay. That seems to be the error that I'm getting. Yes. So if we add the scheme, that might do it. And are you saying this is a hypothetical scheme name? My scheme name? Something like that? That would be the same thing over here. But I don't know what this comes from. Pulled that from this SO article. Let's take a look. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Correct answer is do not use authorization instead of authentication. Token authentication handler. Huh? So instead of using any of the authorized stuff, I just use this instead? Oh, because I don't have policy authentication schemes. So down here. Oh, what's going on here? So that goes inside of there, like that. Right? What doesn't it like about this? Policy add authentication schemes. I don't, but it's saying it can't find a default one. I don't really want to give it a default one. I don't quite understand here why I'm having to go through authentication. Let's go back here and look at this again. All right, so this is the accepted answer, right? Wait, authentication scheme. This is done at Core 2, so hopefully not much has changed. This says do not use authorization instead of authentication. But I mean, the article, the docs that this came from, doesn't say anything about authentication with this. Authorization handlers are called even if authentication fails. That's all it really says. So it seems like I should be able to. It is weird. It is a very weird thing. I'm going to leave this here just to chew on that a bit. Is there another parameter here that's like authentication scheme or something? I mean, at this point, because your bearer is static, why not just add it as a parameter to the API call? Well, the problem with that is I want to add this to this one. I want to add it to other controllers, methods like all these right here. It's not very many. I don't want to have to do that to hard code into everything. Maybe write an HTTP basic filter. So what is an HTTP basic filter? Yeah. Decorate those endpoints. Sure. I mean, that's kind of what I'm trying to get to, is just decorate them with this. And this is the way that I think they want us to do it. But what is an HTTP basic filter? Because you know, in the .NET framework days, I just write an action filter to do this, and say okay, or an authorization filter. Filters you can write and add to the processing pipeline. So if I do HTTP basic filter, yeah, same web API, same kind of thing. One moment, HTTP basic. It's not really probably the right way to handle it, and this is an authorization concern for sure. But I mean, at this point, let's just get something that works. Authorization policy providers. Yeah. Minimum age. This is authorized attributes. That's different. Well, and my email keeps coming to life. Ah, calendar sync is out of control. There we go. A gist from Derek Foreman. Is this you, or is this just something you found? Authorization filter attributes. Yeah. Okay. On authorization. So I can just do that? That is me. Oh, okay. So you're saying, okay, so let's go over here. Hey, finally some code. Looks more familiar. What's going on, Doug the coder? What are you up to? What was I showing last time you were on here? Was it PHP? Is that why? You know, I mostly write .NET C#, but maybe you're just around for the PHP stuff. So public class bearer token filter and authorization filter attribute. Where does that come from? Authorization filter attributes. From one of these, I guess. System.web.8. Wait a second. That looks like a .NET framework namespace. This is ASP.NET. This is ASP.NET Core. Oh, I can't do this. Yeah, okay. Yeah, I was going to say, this is something I've done before as well, but I think they took that away of ASP.NET Core. Doug says, I meant your channel. I watch quite a few coding streams, many. Oh, okay. So you're in my channel, and now you're in familiar territory. Cool. Yeah. Well, I appreciate you stopping in here, Doug the Coder. Chatbot is working now, by the way. I don't know if you were around for that before, but it is back and working. Actually working on it now, trying to get some authorization in place. That looks similar. Adding basic authentication to an ASP.NET Core. I don't know if I want to add a basic authentication, but we could see what we got here. No, it's no problem. It's no problem, Degs. No problem. When I say your name, Degs, I think of. Have you ever seen the movie Snatch? And they have the pikeys in the movie. They have a really thick accent, especially Brad Pitt. And so he asked the guy, he's like, "You like Degs?" And they don't understand what he's asking him. Do I like Degs? Yeah, Degs. And then he points to a bunch of dogs that are running around. He's like, "Oh yeah, Degs. Yeah, I like Degs." All right, what have we got here? Basic auth. Basic auth filter is an authorization filter. Well, it's an attribute, but where's the filtering part? Okay, here, authorization filter. Basic auth filter. Basic auth attribute, basic auth filter. Why are there two different things here? I'm confused. Authentication is so much more complex than it needs to be. The out-of-the-box version you can add from the project template, usually miles away from what is needed. Rant over. Are you saying I'm making it more complicated, or that the out-of-the-box version is more complicated? I'm trying to keep it really, really simple, but apparently it's hard for me to do that because they've changed so many things from the last few times I've taken a similar approach. Let's see. Well, the thing with out-of-the-box stuff is that, you know, Microsoft is a very large company with lots of customers, and they're trying to make an out-of-the-box that will help the most people, right? So you try to make it more flexible, more configurable, a richer set of features so that, you know, people can get what they want out of it out of the box. I guess the problem then is that what's not so easy to do is to simplify that out-of-the-box solution. But that's just a challenging problem in general. Okay, so we've got this basic auth attribute. The attribute will check authentication. I don't see how. This is just decorating it with some stuff. And then we've got, this is like an endpoint, fine, based on a filter. So then there's this basic auth filter. And what's that got to do with an endpoint? Or with the, see, I'm confused here. So we've got attribute and filter. Filter seems to have some actual logic, this on authorization method. But where is the attribute come into play? Oh, wait. What is this? Basic auth filter is the base? What? I don't quite understand this. The constructor has a base method that takes in, what in the world? Well, okay, we'll give it a try. Just a little scratch pad here. So we've got this stuff going on here, fine. And then I've got basic auth filter, which I'm not going to copy and paste the whole thing. I'm not going to call this basic auth either. I'm going to call it bearer. Well, we'll get to that. Okay, and we'll call this one bearer token attribute. And we'll call this one bearer token filter. And what is it saying here? So if is authorized, return. Otherwise, return unauthorized result, which is just returning unauthorized. Okay, fine. So I'll say context dot result equals new unauthorized result. So with that in mind, any place I put this bearer token attribute will be unauthorized right now, just across the board. And let me take some of the stuff out of the startup, like this, and all the other stuff with authorization. This is going to compile, and survey says, ding, okay. Let's run it, see what happens. Suitable constructor for type bearer token filter cannot be located. What? Bearer token filter. Suitable constructor cannot be located. Do I just need to actually write in a constructor? What in the world? Oh, well, this maybe. Oh, okay. Okay, this is supposed to be using. Which one is it supposed to be using? Bearer. It's called basic auth here. Which one does that correspond to? Basic auth attributes, I think. And it's not basic auth filter, but it's doing some sort of weird. Oh wait, type of bearer token filter. This can't be right. I don't know. That's weird. Just a nothing constructor, but that should be there anyway. Which version of .NET Core are you targeting? Let's see. We are at 3.1. I thought so. I just want to double check. So it's saying it can't find a constructor for bearer token filter. A suitable constructor. Seems good. What do you mean a suitable constructor? I don't. And then what is going on here? Oh, because. Well, one difference I have is I don't have a string here. This whole realm thing, I don't know what's going on with this. Let's just do that. Oh, that's better. 401. That's not authorized, right? Yeah, okay. I think we got it. I don't really need this stuff though, right? I'm going to build it a different way. Okay, good. Good. All right, well, I guess we have something. Let's get rid of this. Probably don't need this, but well, maybe no, I don't think I need this. All right, so we need to again do the thing with context dot http context dot request dot query, and just put a bunch of question marks in here. Okay, we can say if query equals null, then do this and do this. And we can say if query contains key token. If it does not contain key token, we can do the same thing. We can simplify this later. If query token, again, first or default. Let's just do this. I should have just copied and pasted this, huh? equal, okay, like that. And we can say if given token is null or given token equals, and this needs to be pulled from configuration somehow. If given token is null or given token is not equal to my token, then again, unauthorized. Otherwise, just keep on trucking. So if I go here, oh, what we got? Yeah, this all can go as well. Okay, but then if I say, oh, token equals my token. All right, that's exactly what I want. That's the behavior that I want. I'll have to do one more thing. Get rid of that. I need to pull this string here from configuration. Where valid token equals my token. How do I do that? Was there any clues over here about pulling in services to a filter? ASP.NET Core, dependency injection, something like that. Can't spell a dependency injection. How to rewrite code to use, oh, here we go. Oh, is it just easy as that? I just put in the constructor? Because if so, then I can just say, oh, what? I don't know. Configuration, right? What I'm looking for here. Looking for I configuration. Will that be okay? Then I could say valid token equals config dot get string bearer token, and I believe what doesn't like about this, get value probably. And then down here I could just put this in like this, and don't need that. Who knows if that's going to work, but we'll give it a try. Okay, so far so good. Oh, hey, working. Well, that was easy. Okay, cool. So I'm going to rename this file to bearer token filter. I don't think this is the way you're supposed to do it, but it seems to be working. And so then I could put bearer token on other stuff as well. So for instance, over here in profile, right now it's completely open to the public. And so I could say /profile Matthew D. Groves, and anyone can get here. Don't want that. Put bearer token on both the get and the post. Run it again. And over here, profile, unauthorized, token equals my token. That works. Now, unfortunately, that means I can't really use this screen on the stream in production, because then I'd be showing the token to the world. So again, this is one of the downsides of using the bearer token kind of thing. Hey, AJ 2017, yo to you as well. This is great. So, okay, there we go. I got some really simple bearer token type of authorization, so that when I deploy this, I don't have to worry about someone else monkeying around with my website. You could set the bearer token in a secure cookie. Secure cookie. Yeah, I suppose I could. I mean, I could just go hog wild and create like a login page for it. Type in the cookie in like a password box, and then that would then get set to the cookie value, which then I could pull from later on instead of a bearer token. I could do that, yeah. So I don't anticipate editing profiles very much on the stream. So I'm not super worried about it. That's the main thing I was worried about right now, is keeping this home controller and profile controller just away from the general public, just in case. Not that I don't trust all you in the chat right now, but just in case. Okay, it is time to commit. Probably it would be a good time to write some unit tests as well, but let's just want to do a little commit, see if there's any junk in here that I need to clean up. Yeah, that's an old issue. Home controller. Add the bearer token, that's good. Profile controller, add the bearer token there, that's good. Docker file. I don't think I remember changing anything with this. Okay, I'm going to leave that alone. CS proj. Yeah, added, added app insights. I forgot about that. Do I want to keep that in there? Well, let's see why that'd be a problem. Startup, HTTP context, application insights. I commented out that junky thing. I'm not going to show you those. I'm not going to commit those either. Although, let me think about this. Yeah, I can't commit those. We got sensitive information on them. Bearer token filter. Another option is to restrict access by IP address. I did that for a framework web app. You probably don't need that much security, though. I thought about IP address. Doug, the problem with that is my IP address changes from time to time. So it would be kind of a hassle for me to go in there and reconfigure it every time my IP address changes. Not a bad suggestion, though. Okay, Kubernetes stuff. All right. Okay, so we added bearer token and application insights. Bearer token authorization and application insights. Okay. Yeah, this is not really a super sensitive app. I mean, I just don't want people messing with it is the main thing. All right, so I'm going to push these things all out to GitHub, which if you just type bang current project in the chat right now, you will get a link to that GitHub repo. So if you want to play with this bot, fork it, mess with it, make improvements to it, that would be great. Pull requests accepted for sure. If you want to show me the right way to do this, using the whole policy framework, see what I missed. Especially if you're watching here on YouTube, watching this in the future, definitely feel free to send me a pull request or an issue or anything at all. But I'll go ahead and just plug that current project there. And it's showing it twice because I got two bots currently connected to it right now. So I'm going to close this one down here. Okay. So now I'll have the one. Current project. There we go. Okay. Fantastic. Well, it's about 3 o'clock. What else can we knock out here real quick? I think maybe that's good enough for today. It might be time to... Oh, question. Doug, question. What functionality is this bot going to have? So right now it already has some functionality. It can show you if you type bang help, you'll see a bunch of the commands whispered to you. But it'll show the current project. You can change the current project. You can set your shout out message. I have something in there with fanfare, which I've sort of lost the data for that, but we can repopulate that. So when certain regulars show up, I want to welcome them with a little bit of fanfare, a little bit of like a video and an intro clip, that sort of thing. So that's just kind of for fun. And there's some other stuff that people have been suggesting, like a bookmark. We got this trout, like the old school IRC trout command. So some of these might be just aliases like info about uptime, stream info, followage, whatever followage it means, or follow age, things like that. So if you have suggestions, I'm open for it as well. So definitely any cool idea we can explore with the Twitch bot. The other thing that it kind of does just by being around is it's actually every chat message that comes in, it's being stored in the Couchbase. So I'll have a history of all the different things that people have typed into the chat, questions, and who's been here and things like that. So we could potentially query that for something in the future, and maybe show sentiment analysis or peak times, who is the chattiest, things like that, right? So we could do those types of queries, and we've done sort of ad hoc versions of that in the past. But yeah, any suggestions you can think of next time you're in the chat, if something comes to mind, just drop it there in the chat. And actually, when I'm away, it's still going to be collecting your chat messages. So you can drop it any time and put those in there. Not that I go through and read through the logs or anything, but that's what it's doing. I think it's time to look for a raid here. A fellow teammate. Well, let's see. We've got lots of choices here. I've raided InstaFluff relatively recently. I think let's go Bald Bearded Builder. Let's go say hi to Michael Jolly. Bald Bearded Builder. We're going to raid Bald... Oops, I typed it in wrong apparently. Raid Bald Bearded Builder. Okay, so please join me over there for a raid. If you're a subscriber, you can copy and paste this. It's a raid. Bada bing. Bada boom. And if you're not a subscriber, just substitute the emoji of your choice there. The emote of your choice. And be nice to Michael Jolly. He's got a great stream. And I will see you over there. Thank you very much for joining me. I'll be back Tuesday, 10 a.m. Eastern U.S. time. We'll see you then.
Which is perfect.